So you've heard a lot of history and seen lots of faces and pictures in the video that you just saw. So we thought we'd do a little bit of a talk story in this session rather than kind of going through our history and doing all that. So just a little bit, when you look up the mountain and you see, you see the Oski Rice Arena, that is thanks to Ka'anolu Ranch. And when you look up and you see all the open pastures and the open space, not all, but lots of the open pastures and open space, that is because of these two ranches that are committed to maintaining that pasture land and open space for, we've been doing it for 6 generations, and we hope it'll be for at least that many more to come. And in order to maintain that land, we have to have wonderful people who are working on it and care and are thinking about it every day and looking ahead, but also thinking about the good old days, because that's where we all come from. And that's sort of where the fabric of this upcountry Makawao town comes from, is in the history of the Paniolo culture and the people and the families that all came together to be here. So anyway, enough of me talking. We're gonna get to the interesting stuff now, where I'm gonna ask a few questions. If there are questions from the audience, then we can get to that later. But first, I thought I would start with Ken. You've been working, as I already said, on the ranch for 67 years, which is so amazing. Thank you. Tell me a little bit about how you got started, and tell me a little bit about the family. You're the 3rd generation of Haleakalā Ranch employees, so tell me a little bit about your family before you that also was involved in the ranch. Sorry.
Yeah, I work up there. I'm born and raised there. The ranch is my home. And I had my grandfather work for him, my father, my uncles, my brother. Right down the line, we always there. And that's how I started. I was working with Mandu Bowen when he first, I started off. I started off with just to see I want a job. He said, you start tomorrow. Yeah.
That's how it was in the old days.
Yeah, that's how it was.
He's a lot older than I am.
Yeah, so, the ranching is, it's a hard life when it was growing up, because, it wasn't like now, what I mean? Everything you do is by hand. Everything is what it is. So you gotta, that's how it was, but now everything is modern, but ranching was very hard to work. But, born and raised there all my life. It's still my home.
We're grateful that it's still your home. So Ken was in charge of all the water systems for the ranch for many, many, many years. And I remember as a young child, not small child, but youngish, going into his workshop and seeing these glass bottles, like wine, big gallon wine bottles. Why did you collect those?
Because that's what we use for the water troughs to make the floater. If you with a gallon.
We need another microphone here. Maybe not.
So that's what the gallons is for make to the floater, for the water troughs. With the floater, once you shut off, the water goes off.
You used to hold on and collect everything and reuse.
Yes. Gallons, everything. And I stay there and you make your own. Even guys come from the different islands and they tell us what we do for our floater. We say, I make gallon and tie them down and that's it. The kind of wine he drinks.
That doesn't come in a big enough bottle.
That's what they use for floater.
Yeah, true.
Right?
Yeah. It's the best thing.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, Uncle Henry, your turn. So you have been a cowboy for your whole life. He doesn't look like it. He's wearing his golf clothes today, but that's okay. We know he is. When did you first start going out on the ranch, and what was it like? What?
On the ranch here on Maui, I started summer times when you're about 10 years old, 11 years old. You go out with your family, cowboys. Well,
And what did you do? Did you just ride for an hour and come in, or?
well, he depended on the pasture. There are different pastures are driven different ways. But for sure, you stayed in line and you didn't get ahead of the foreman or your boss. And you operated slow. The motto there was slow is faster.
Did you have a favorite horse?
I did. I had a couple. My first favorite horse was Kamehameha. My second favorite horse was Kuchi. And then favorite horses all the way up until not too long ago.
Still? You're going out and checking the lines?
No, I've kind of retired from riding horses and driving cattle. I leave it up to the young guys like me.
But you're still doing the brandings.
Yes, but that's play.
That's play. Well, it seems like hard work to me when I see you out there.
Brandings are fun because it's a teamwork of all the cowboys. As Blackie can know, you got a teamwork with the ropers and the ground crew, and so that it's moving fast and efficient and very easy on the calves. So it's a lot of fun, and then afterwards everybody kind of gets together, have a little lunch. But what really makes it fun is usually cowboys from the neighboring ranches all come and help. And so it's a cowboy party, you might say.
It's a great day of hard work, and then, as you say, everybody coming together. Okay, we were talking about the fabric of the community, and part of that for Makawao is the rodeo, which has been going on for how many years?
67, I'm gonna say we're in our 67th year, possibly.
That's amazing. So, I don't know, Uncle Henry or Wendy, which one of you would like to tell me a little bit about why you keep doing it?
Well, I think I can add a little light to that. I think it was back in the mid-50s that a couple of Haleakalā Ranch cowboys, George Manoa Sr., Benji Rollins, came to my father and said, you know, we would like just a small corner up there in Makawao below George's house to kind of put in a roping arena and some bucking chutes and be able to bring cowboys from all over, not just the ranches on Maui, but from all over, and come and rope and kind of start what we know as a rodeo. And so the first arena was right up near where the President Arena is. And that's how it got started.
I think your chute is still there, right?
The loading chute.
The loading chute?
Yeah. That's correct, yes.
I thought that was
I know,
sweet.
to keep that, it's historic. I think the reason we continue to do the rodeo, again, is bringing together the cowboys, the Paniolo from statewide, and bringing us all together to celebrate our heritage and history. So we keep going, and we're looking forward to next year. We're doing two a year now. But and then again, I think what's really special with Makawao Town is we've started the parade the week before, and it brings the whole community together, all the different businesses and people that live here. And it's a great parade, and all our council members come out, and so it just brings the island together here in Makawao Town. So I think that's what's really special about our town here. And then it continues up with chili cook-offs during the week, and all the way up celebrating the rodeo at the end of, and that's the 4th of July rodeo. So that's the history there. I think Grandpa really wanted to bring everyone together, all the cowboys together, and show their talent.
Okay, this one is for Ken. The other day, I was lucky enough to go on a little drive with you to go and look at all the house sites. I mean, part of this building community was that there were houses where families lived in, as neighbors to each other. They lived and worked together, the kids played together, uncles and cousins and grandparents were all together. We still have some ranch housing, not as much as we did back in the day, as you were showing me where all the sites were, Ken. But I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit about what it was like to grow up in that environment.
Well, the ranch houses was, we all lived about 40 houses, and the dairy had some, and the ranch was all together anyway. And we used to play there, and we used to play baseball, and with everything going on there, you know what I mean? And it was hard to say, but we lived there, and
You didn't want to come play baseball with these guys.
You didn't want to play baseball with these
They
guys.
were too good.
they look like the whole team, you know what I mean? Our
Yeah.
parents was all Cowboys. When they hit the ball's going. Yeah, yeah, and the good thing about living up the ranch that you never have to lock your house. Nobody goes there and break in. Everybody's like a family. The Haleakalā ranch is like a family thing, So everybody just respect one another. Yeah.
What time did ranch life start? Did ranch life, you get your saddle, you're ready to go to work? Was it still dark in the morning?
What time did ranch life start? Was it still dark in the morning?
6:30. 6:30 we started.
6:30?
Yeah.
But if you started cattle drive, you could start earlier,
Oh yeah.
like a cattle drive down the mountain. You want to start super early,
Take
before
the
the
race.
sun comes up.
So you started at 6:30, and then talk a little bit about your day. Like what did you do first? Did you take a lunch break? When were you POW?
Well, Haleakalā ranch, your job is to do anything. You know, fix fences, everything that goes on with cattle and the pastures and water and brand time, We used to go brand. It was young kids who used to go brand. And Mandu Bowen told us, that you 3 boys was me, Blondie, and Sonny Boy. The last, the Mohegans in other words. And yeah, and Mandu come up to us and say, you guys, we hit brand. We hit brand 100 calves an hour. Just only you 3 guys knocking down. That's all it was. And Mrs. Bowen used to be there too, whooping, and Mandu. And
What you wanted to do was always go to Haleakalā Ranch Brandy. They had the best salt beef And they never won in the watermelon fights.
Salt meat and potato, and you have a plate like one. Here's a paper, you put the salt meat, you put the potato, that's it, your lunch.
What about the malasada?
No,
Look at,
No malasada.
no,
no.
just only
Next
gas.
generation.
That was in my generation. There was a malasada.
My father used to cook the salt meat,
Oh,
Oh yeah, I've seen the copper pot.
yeah.
It's pretty
Down
cool.
the ranch,
Yeah.
Then they stole from us. Makawao ended up making their salt beef, and that was our boy.
Oh. Yeah, John.
No, he was a nice
Yeah.
guy.
Very nice.
You
guy.
guys lost a good guy.
We know that.
Thank
You stole it.
I like to work with you.
Well, why do you want to come to us?
It's a better ranch.
They had greener grass,
Greener grass. Yeah. Are there other questions?
and they paid more too.
Yes, true.
Those cattle drives, there's multiple ranches up country, right? Okay, and so you had there's two there. Okay, you had your specific pastures, you guys didn't mix them, is that correct? Right? And then when you would do the cattle drives, how far up or what kind of land would you cover during a typical cattle drive?
Well, you have to recognize that most of the ranches are split the old Hawaiian, what they call an ahupua'a, from mountain to ocean. So you had three very distinct climate type of areas you worked in. You never wanted to work at Haleakalā Ranch because it rained too much at their place. But at our ranch, we had nice weather all the time. Anyway, it's, and as I said earlier, the way you drove the pastures were kind of, whether you're in the mountain area, mid part of the ranch, or the low country. Haleakalā Ranch, because they're lazy, they trucked all over the place with their ranch. We had to ride to our pastures.
Hey, you'd be surprised, the cowboys used to ride all over these mountains.
Yes.
They had no trailers or nothing, just horses.
I know.
You know what I mean?
You had the good trucks. So.
We did have the good trucks. I remember them from
Yeah.
back in the day.
I'm most curious about how you got them out of the gulches, though. I think I'm trying to
I'm sorry,
visualize
what?
that.
What was
How
that?
you got them out of the gulches, right? Wouldn't
Cattle
the
in the
cattle
gulches.
go down into the gulches too?
Two ways. The old way first was you got off your horse and sent a guy down there to push him out of the gulch. Since then, and we really took the lesson from New Zealand and Australia, how they worked with cattle dogs and how you could really operate efficiently with cattle dogs, as they were very attuned to not harassing the cattle but behaving to the cowboys' orders, whistle, and they would go down and bring them up.
Thanks.
Another question, yes.
I do extensive reading on the history of the Haleakalā Ranch, and I don't know how much of it is actual factual.
Not very much.
Did the Haleakalā Ranch actually drive the cattle down to the McKenna landing and onto the ships that way? They'd swim them out to the ships. Is that true?
That was before our time. That was way before our time.
But you
But-
remember the history?
Yeah, but to answer your question, yes. The McKenna landing was a big landing area where they shipped cattle out of. And,
She wants to get something.
and so that's how it occurred. You basically had a pen near the water, and your cowboys used what they call loading saddles. There was no leather on it, just wood and stirrups and straps. And they would rope this cattle in the pen by the horns and drag them out into the water where there were skiffs right near the water that they would hook up to the horns, take your rope off, and then the cowboy would go back. Once you had about 3 head on each side, usually the size of the skiff, then they would be swum out to what we call the mother boat. And there, a pulley would lift the cattle up from the side of the boat. And it was done so that the skiff doesn't tip over. You had to go one side first, then on the other side from the back, go up. And they were then loaded into the hold of a ship and then transported to Oahu, where the big meat packing plants were. Or the slaughterhouses. Then it graduated to where really each ranch had their own slaughterhouses. And that lessened the phase of having to do this manual, getting the cattle shipped by boat to Oahu. And then carcasses were freighted over on barges to a larger population on Oahu and to a lot of meat markets here. So that's how, then when we became a state, federal regulations really came in on how your slaughterhouses are set up. It became very expensive to slaughter on the individual ranches. And so then we went back to barging live cattle to Oahu, which were then slaughtered and packed away. And that's how the evolution moved. Our ranch just killed it.
I like ranch, take them all to all the guys down the road.
I had to laugh at this film though. Our slaughterhouse was down the road over here, and so we would drive the cattle. Our beef cattle were always kept in Makawao. We'd drive from Kula on the road to Makawao, and then they were staged in Makawao, some of our pastures in the Makawao area. Then weekly we would drive down the hill you see back here, then past this library over to our slaughterhouse. And you're right, cattle back in the territorial days had the right of way.
I was going to say, this book was written for the 125th anniversary of Haleakalā Ranch, and if you read it in here, it's been researched.
I haven't read
It's-
that book yet.
This is
Yeah.
that John Harrison.
John Harrison wrote it.
He
and-
tremendously searched all the ranch records,
Yeah.
the files.
And I believe Makawao Library has a copy if you want to borrow it. How are we doing on time, Kirsten?
Ready?
Wrap it up? Okay, okay. Ken or Uncle Henry, do you have any last story or parting words of wisdom you'd like to share with us?
Ken has all the wisdom. I'm older.
No.
Just look at you.
Eh? Chillu.
No.
Ken knows where all the water lines are.
Start a house, we worked all kind of jobs. Start a house and deliver meat, and I was only 20 pounds, I was carrying 150 to the stores.
I have
Yeah.
a question.
Yes.
What did you like about your life as a cowboy? What elements of your life did you really like about being a cowboy?
Oh, everything. That's why I stayed at the ranch.
Such as?
Yeah, I stayed there.
I like to go to Haleakalā Ranch Brandy's because of the salt meat in it.
Oh, you can't beat
And they
it.
lose every time on the watermelon fights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Can I ask one more question? Your main water source, where's it coming from? You know where all the lines are and where the water's going, but where's it coming from, your main source?
We have a old spring all the way up in the crater. And we have the county water too also. The ones supply the upper sections. And so we use the county one for the lower sections.
You also had the Kaili system shared with us
Yeah.
We shared a water
for the
system.
Makawao.
Oh, yeah.
There,
Yeah, but this one I was in there with was fixing all the place up.
yeah.
Remember, we're the ranch that gets all the rain, although that isn't as true these days. Although maybe this last week it was.
I know. Hope for more.
Thankfully. Anyway, Kirsten, Historic Hawaiʻi Foundation, thank you for the opportunity. This has been fun for me. I hope it has been fun for you, Uncle Henry, and for
Yeah,
you, Ken.
Thank
For-
Always
Thank
good
you,
to
Wendy.
appear with it. It makes me look good.